You might think that to scale a Google Ads account over 50k a month in revenue in less than 6 months, you need really complex campaign setup. That's just not true. We took this UK health and beauty brand from 0 to 50k a month in turnover in less than 6 months. And we did it with just a simple 4 campaign structure. But this wasn't a standard e-commerce store. This brand was already stocked in major retailers, meaning we were competing against massive retailers like Boots and Sephora for our own customers. Secondly, it's backed by an influencer with a massive following, which has allowed us to tap into high brand awareness and benefit from high brand search volume and search volume for their name, as well as high CTRs on generic terms. As such, we definitely can't take full credit for this one, but this is just to show the power of having an influencer-backed brand and how quickly you can grow when you can cross-sell into that audience and generate really cheap demand. So I think it's fair to say that the Google Ads account here definitely had a running start, but nevertheless, this just goes to show the power of that and setup that we would use in this situation. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we navigated that competition, the piggyback strategy we used to train the pixel very quickly, and the 4 campaign setup that you can copy to scale your own brand. First, let's talk about the unique challenge here.
So when you're a D2C brand that's also stocked in retailers, your Google Ads strategy has to change compared with if you're just selling direct and you're not in retailers or on Amazon, for example. So usually I tell clients to be really careful with brand search campaigns because you're often paying for traffic that you would have gotten for free organically. But when retailers are bidding on your brand name, as you can see in this example here, because they're stocked in retailers, that logic breaks down. So if you don't bid on your own brand name, when a customer searches for you, they might see an ad here from, say, Boots, for example, or Selfridges, who they may already be a customer of. They much more established in the market. They might have better shipping options. So it might actually be cheaper for the customer to order from one of your retailers compared with you. And as they may have been around for far longer than you have, the trust barrier will be lower for them to order from a retailer than you. So you are effectively competing with yourself. There's also the fact that it might actually be cheaper for you to sell on Amazon because of shipping. So your margin might be higher selling on Amazon. So those are just things you've got to consider. And there's actually a great study by this company called House called When is Brand Search Worth the Investment, which actually proves that when you're competing with marketplaces, brand search can be incremental. So step 1 was accepting that we needed to defend our brand terms and put a portion of budget towards brand, and that was the decision they made as a business. The second lever was a piggyback strategy. So what's really spurred the growth of this brand has been the backing of a huge influencer. So that was almost like brand traffic, in that people searching that name of that influencer may have been aware of the brand. They may not have, but they're probably more likely to have been aware of the brand. So it's almost like brand traffic. So we decided to keep that in, and we decided to keep that in our brand campaign because the search volumes were so high and we were driving lots of top of funnel traffic on Meta and YouTube. We were able to use that to train the pixel really, really quickly, and you're essentially forcing the algorithm to show ads to the fans of that influencer.
The second lever was this piggyback strategy. Now, this brand has a huge influencer backing it. Most brands would keep this separate, and in terms of the how they structure their campaigns, we combined them, and we use manual CPC on our brand shopping campaigns to aggressively capture all of that influencer intent, knowing that it could be funneled through D2C or retailers. We forced the algorithm to be trained on that data as if it was almost brand spend.
Now let's look at the actual setup. That's driven over 750k in revenue to date, almost £250,000 in spend. It's actually deceptively simple, and the reason it can be deceptively simple is because we had this influencer driving a lot of top of funnel traffic for us. So brand searches were already sort of taken care of from the start, as were searches for this influencer's name, which meant that the account could launch and scale very, very quickly. So we certainly can't take all the credit for that. The benefit of that is we get to have a very, very simple structure. So we literally have four campaign structure. So that's generic search, performance max, generic shopping, and brand shopping. So on the generic search side, we started bottom up with high intent keywords like hair oil, and expanded into like problem solution type terms like how to fix dry hair, starting with exact and phrase, and then expanding out into broad once we saw good performance on those terms. Now, this is an account overall that's actually really performed well from Broad Match because, well, there's 2 reasons why. We think it's because they have a large range of products, lots of sort of related products. So so there's lots of variety for customers to choose from. And secondly, because of the high influencer search terms, that's high influencer search volume, and the high brand search volume, there was lots of data for the algorithm to learn from very quickly. Secondly, we used generic performance max campaign. And we use that for mining new search terms. We set the ROAS target higher here than standard shopping because we wanted standard shopping to win, at least initially. Our generic shopping was like the engine of the account. So this is where all of our terms would go to. And we had just a simple setup. We weren't segmenting by product category or price. We just lumped all the products into one ad group by our ROAS target. We haven't seen a problem in this account of like zombie products or certain products not getting delivery, but that is an approach we take in other accounts when we see that problem. And then also our brand shopping layer, which is there to protect our brand name. And as I said, it's to ensure that we're not letting retailers win all of the searches for those brand terms. And you can see here shopping brand is on a manual CPC, and you can check out my other videos for how to effectively set that manual CPC for brand search traffic. We did also then add in another layer when we came into peak on demand gen, and on those demand gen we set up 2 layers. So we had top of funnel UGC direct from influencers, which we tested on Meta. And then we had statics, and those statics were very performance-led, talking about certain products and certain categories. So fairly simple setup, but as I said, when you've got your top of funnel very covered, your Google strategy can be quite different. And we were certainly fortunate in this sense that we could have quite a simple setup. Of course, this won't work for every brand, and for smaller brands with lower overall marketing budgets, this definitely isn't the setup I'd recommend.
So what was the outcome after 6 months? For 6 months, over 200k generated at a 2.7 value ROAS, 1.8 on purely generic traffic. Now, this is low because we're spending the maximum we can. We're trying to scale as quickly as possible and spend as much as possible at the lowest possible ROAS, because we know in this situation that the LTV is very high. They do great products and people keep coming back and buying more. This just goes to show that you don't need a complicated account to scale when you've got some of the fundamentals right and you're tackling awareness outside of the account. You need solid financial targets, good feed, and the discipline to exclude your existing customers. If you're a beauty or an e-commerce brand scaling past 30k monthly in spend and you want us to implement this 4-campaign framework for you, then click the link below for a strategy call.